So there's a lot of talk which is happening around the ethical or the use of ethics in technology. People have moved from just being able to make money with the use of technology, and they are now moving towards a completely different aspect of technology. It is also being discovered by the end users as well as the regulatories that ethics is not being followed in most of the technical companies, for example, Facebook, Google, and many others. Today, I'm going to talk to you about the use of ethics when you are implementing marketing automation. That's going to be the topic of discussion. We are going to see where in marketing automation, when your company is implementing marketing automation, what are the aspects in which you can use ethics, which should always be there, so that at the end you are not marked as a unethical company doing having unethical practices. So let's explore. To start with, a company has to be very transparent with their customers, prospects, and visitors about the use of automation. They should be very transparent about when they are using automation, so that there is always a clarity with the end customer on the or the user whom they are really interacting with. A company should always be very clear about this aspect. Transparency plays a very important role. Number two is privacy, and this is most talked about when it comes to the ethical use of marketing automation or ethical use of marketing. The privacy concerns for the user or the customer or the visitor, the prospect, should be paramount. It should always be taken into consideration without any hesitation. There should always be regulations that should be followed, like GDPR, or based upon your country or the country of the user and user that you are catering to. Number three is personalization. Marketing automation plays a very important role when it comes to personalization, but a company should always be able to distinguish between personalization and invasion. Just in the name of personalization, you cannot keep sending hundreds and thousands of messages to your end customer, even if they are not interested, or even if there is a certain limit which is there in your industry. Just because you can personalize, just because you can understand exactly what your customer wants or how it makes a difference in their life, you are not allowed to send them multiple messages and invade their privacy. Next is honesty in your marketing messages. Do not create messages, do not send messages which are having or making false promises. Right? A marketing automation, when it comes into picture, when companies start using it, and when your data starts really getting very dense, there are always possibilities that you end up sending wrong messages, making false promises to do the lead nurturing or to activate your sleeping or maybe the dead list. Do not make any false promises just because you want to activate them. Monitoring of your customers or end users or your prospects or visitors is the next step when it comes to the ethical practice of marketing automation. Monitoring should comes with accountability. If you are monitoring your end customer, you should be accountable, and you should be always transparent about informing them that they are getting monitored. You cannot just monitor them and sit without taking any action, or without informing them that they are also being monitored, without taking their consent about them being monitored. So when it comes to the monitoring, you have to be very careful about data security and be transparent about that as well. Like this, there are many other aspects that also includes one more aspect, which is A/B testing. Do not use any deceptive practices when you are doing A/B testing. There is a difference between persuasion and manipulation. When a company uses persuasion tactics, is completely different. But nowadays, if you see the Facebooks and Googles of the world, they are being dragged to the court because they have taken persuasion to a completely different level, which has turned into manipulation. You should not manipulate your customers while you are doing A/B testing. You should not be using deceptive practices to monitor their activities, to use different kind of their psychological aspects which actually manipulates them. So these are some very important aspects of ethical practices in marketing automation. You should always be careful about using ethics, because now as a company, you are being monitored at a very different level. And since now ethics is being discussed and talked about in a lot of forums, communities, and by the regulation authorities, if you do not use ethics when you are doing marketing automation, it will be very difficult for you in near future to maintain the brand which can actually help you doing more business. Being unethical is very big when it comes to marketing automation. Customers as well as the visitors or even the prospects, including the regulatory authorities, they have now matured, and they know very clearly how to distinguish between an ethical and an unethical company. And it's getting very, very difficult for the brands to maintain the credibility. And credibility is the one of the most important factor for any brand, even if it's a new business or existing business. And the more transparent and more ethical you are when it comes to marketing automation, the longer your brand is going to survive, and the better name you can build for your brand and be more credible. And of course, it's going to end in a very different and positive way for your business. So be ethical when it comes to marketing automation. Thank you.